what plants you have in there. I was really wondering if any of them are nitrogen fixing plants, because that could be another source of nutrition for the plants, right? Are you able to name off maybe like, I don't know, a handful of plants that you've got in there, and are any of them nitrogen fixing?
That's right. That was the question you asked me, and I got off on tangent.
It's
I'm
all
good at
right.
that. I'm good at that. I have what things are around here. I have elephant ear trees that are around. I call them. I can't pronounce the scientific name of this tree, but they produce these. For people who don't know, I mean, I'm showing one like these giant elephant ear leaves. This one's cut off and down, but anyway, those are giving me the year-round roots, so to speak, the evergreen. It's an evergreen tree. It grows really big. It stays pretty much green year-round, but it doesn't die. It gives me those deep roots that are getting down into that horizontal layer. Then I have the bush. So I have the tree aspect biology. Then I went to the bush. So I have this bush over here in the corner. Then I also have some jasmine, pink jasmine that grows over in the corner here. That's kind of another like viney type bush. We have some dog fennel. Dog fennel is like what you find on the edges of creeks. I have a lot of it around the reservoir here. It is invasive as hell. It grows like crazy. It shoots roots all down in the creek, all in the soil. And that's basically what I've got all different types of grasses. I've got creek grass, wire grass. Well, it's not wire grass. It's more of like a Kentucky rye grass. You know, it kind of grows in the creek and along the edge of the creek. Then we've got diachondra grass that grows on. That only gets about 2 inches off the top of the soil. Doesn't grow very tall, but it loves the creek. Like it grows off the edge of, I mean, not the creek, but the pond. It grows over the edge and grows down into the pond, giving the fish lots of cover. The turtles eat all the leaves off the ones that grow to the pond, but the roots seem to stay intact. Then we've got some lucky bamboo. That's the only thing that I don't have that's native, that's not native to around here, the lucky bamboo. I bought that. I bought that at where I bought it at Petco or something. I rescued it from Petco when I bought a couple of mollies. Bought a couple of yellow and black molly fish to help with the algae in the pond. And that's about it. Oh, we've also got a couple of dandelions. Dandelions, I don't let go to flower. They're just like their bush. They put off a huge, big white taproot. They're really good for pulling calcium back up to the top of the soil, where I just pluck the leaves off and just chop and drop. So everything that is in the bed is chop and dropped. So like can't all the way down to everything until we harvest our medicine. It everything else gets chop and drop. So what I do is basically creating a compost right in the bed. So if you're building compost, you're going to build layers. You're going to go brown, green, brown, green, brown, green. That's what I'm doing with IMO 4 and 5. So my brown is my IMO 5, and then I'll just chop and drop everything on top of the IMO 5. And then next round, IMO 5, chop and drop everything from that round. And that's how we're going to build layers through each round. And we're getting about 4 rounds out this year. And yeah, if I hadn't have done that big land race that took up like 13 weeks,
I saw that one. Yeah.
we would have been a little bit further ahead, but we let that one go.
This clip is brought to you by VivoSun. Use discount code MrGrow15 to save on any of their gardening products. Go to the full episode by clicking the outro card here, or click the link in the description section below. Catch you in the next video.